OMG, Chloe, you need to sit down for this. I heard the most epic, creepy Korean ghost story. This is from my friend in Korea, and it literally happened to her older brother. No cap, this is a true story. So, his dad retires and buys this picture-perfect house in the countryside. Behind the house, there was this small mountain that didn't belong to anyone, like a bonus piece of land, you know? The locals all said, go for it, nobody uses it. So the dad gets all excited and decides to plant an orchard there. The whole family spent months, like every single weekend, clearing weeds and prepping the soil. It was like super wholesome at first. So finally, the day before they're about to plant the trees, they have this huge party in the yard. And Chloe, listen, this is where it all starts. While the adults are drinking, the kids go up the hill to play and dig up something from the dirt. And what was it? A brass bell, about the size of your palm. It was old and rusty, but it had these weird patterns etched into it and was like creepily cold to the touch. One of the kids shook it, and instead of a clear, tinkling sound, it made this gross, flat noise that seemed to make the air feel thick. But then the aunt, who's super religious, sees it and totally freaks out, yelling, "What is this cursed thing?" and snatches it and throws it somewhere. Shady AF, right? The kid starts crying, but everyone else just thought she was being dramatic and moved on. Little did they know, that was the first warning shot from the mountain. Literally from that day on, the dad started getting weird. He'd wake up screaming, drenched in sweat, and the dreams he described were insane. He said in this pitch black pit, a woman with no eyes was looking up at him, whispering, "You're almost there, just a little more." During the day, he was like a zombie. He'd just sit by the window, tracing the shape of the mountain on the glass with a shaky finger over and over. He wouldn't eat, he'd just stare at his food getting cold, muttering to himself, "Just a little more." It's given possessed. Then all of a sudden, he's supposedly all better. He starts going up the mountain to work, so everyone's relieved, right? Wrong. What he was actually doing up there was digging a giant hole with a shovel, for no reason. His son, the brother telling the story, said his dad wasn't himself anymore. He had this crazy, inhuman strength gripping the shovel, and his eyes, they were just empty, but filled with this cold, terrifying determination. And then, 2 weeks later, the tip of the shovel hit something with a dull thud, and there it was, a black wooden coffin reeking of damp earth, rotted wood, and something else, something vaguely sweet and sickening like old flowers. A frigging coffin. Can you even imagine? Everyone was in a total panic. The village elders said it was probably an old grave and they should just respectfully rebury it. So the family covers it back up with dirt, makes a little mound, and even puts up a wooden plank as a makeshift tombstone. The next day, they hold a small service for the dead. They did everything right, you know? They thought, okay, we did our best. It should be fine now. Oh, honey, no. That was the worst mistake they could have made. That night, when everything finally seemed normal again, a bizarre storm brewed only over their house. The brother said he could hear what sounded like a woman's laughter mixing with the howling wind. And the next morning, that wooden tombstone they made was snapped clean in half. So finally, the brother finds this famous shaman and begs her to come. And she must have been the real deal because she gets out of her car, takes one look at the house and says, "The air here is heavy. It's suffocating like a wet blanket." She doesn't go to the mountain. She walks straight to the back of the house and points at a spot. They dig, and there it is, the brass bell the aunt had thrown away. The moment the shaman picked it up, a crazy gust of wind whipped through the yard. Her face went pale and she said, "You're in deep trouble. This isn't just a grave. You disturbed a shaman's tomb." OMG, the tomb belonged to an ancient shaman buried with all her ritual tools. And that bell, it was basically her soul, her power, all rolled into one. So now they know the cause, right? They dig up the coffin again, place the bell on top of it, and think, for real this time, that it's over. But when the shaman channels the spirit again, the whole game changed. The spirit spoke through the shaman's mouth, but in this ice-cold, chilling voice. "Thank you for returning my property, but this is not enough. Bring me my children. Bring those ungrateful descendants who haven't visited me in decades. Until I see them, I will never leave this man's body." No cap, Chloe. How were they supposed to find the descendants of a shaman who died decades ago? This wasn't a request. It was a hostage situation. They're just all standing there completely hopeless when the shaman suddenly screams, "Get in the car, turn around now." She said the spirit wouldn't wait. It would throw a tantrum right then and there. And she was right. They get back to the house and it's total chaos. The dad is fully possessed, his eyes rolled back, screaming as he smashes everything in sight. The shaman runs in and confronts him, but the spirit just laughs at her, like, "You and what army?" Realizing she couldn't do it alone, she called for backup. A few minutes later, 2 more cars pull up and 2 other shamans get out, looking like total badasses. It was literally the Exorcist Avengers assembling. The 3 shamans went in, and for an hour, it was just a war zone of sound. All the lights in the house flickered and exploded. The sound of gongs and drums felt like it was shaking the foundation, and you could hear the 3 shamans' voices all mixed up. One was crying, one was commanding, and one was screaming curses in a language that wasn't even human. Then, complete silence. The shamans walked out, drenched in sweat and incense smoke. It's over. The 3 of us, we basically jumped it. LOL, can you believe it? Jumped it. 3 powerful spirits ganging up to literally extinguish one pissed-off ghost. Apparently, the ghost just wanted her bell back at first, but when the shaman showed up, she got greedy and thought, "Ooh, I can use them to get my lifelong wish." And then she went full-on psycho. In the end, her greed was her downfall. The dad woke up the next day, totally fine, with no memory of the last months. Isn't it a relief, though? Imagine if they had actually had to go find the descendants. That would have been a whole other horror movie. Anyway, the family still doesn't even look at the mountain. I guess there's no such thing as a free lunch, especially a whole-ass mountain. Creepy story, right?